Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Katy Sissine Show on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Remember, the Katy Sissine Show is on live every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. only on FYNTV.com. And you can also check out our video archives on YouTube at Fetch Your News channel. Now, today's episode, yesterday we talked about, let's just review yesterday in brief. We talked about the rejection of the reinstatement of the travel ban and where the case is going to go from here and where to develop from here. And I had a very informed Metro Atlanta caller call in for the second half of the show to give his input, which was very insightful. We talked a little bit about George Soros. So if you're interested in that, just go check it out on Monday's episode from this week. And now today, as I said, we're going to be talking about Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos, Elisabeth DeVos, known as Betsy DeVos. She's making headlines. Well, we all knew that she got her confirmation just by a smidge, just by a little bit. The Senate vote was smack dab in the middle, equally divided. And for the first time in history, a VP Mike Pence, had to be the tiebreaker for a member of cabinet, reportedly in the first time in history. So this is very exciting stuff. This goes to show how hard the Republicans and the Trump administration is fighting for its cabinet to regain the power of the people, because we have to remember, and my last caller from yesterday's episode, he reminded me of Trump's inauguration speech, which was only a few weeks ago now, but seems like a further time ago. He reminded me that Trump is giving the power back to the people, and doing that is not going to be an easy task. The judicial system, and the lower court that rejected the reinstatement of the travel ban is left-wing, highly left-wing. The Ninth Circuit Court is located all along the West Coast regarding the travel ban now. We still have a divided, and we still have a divide in the Senate as well, obviously. Now I was going back to the case with the Muslim ban, but anyway, we see that there's, basically what I'm saying is there's a lot of swamp draining to do here. Okay, so anyway, for the first time in history, Pence had to be the tiebreaker for DeVos to be voted in as Secretary of Education. Important note, some senators changed their votes after they saw DeVos's confirmation hearing, and she was very caught off guard by some of the questions. But we also have to bear in mind that she has to be very careful. And as supporters of DeVos, we know that she can't just simply go off and answer, questions and give people cohesive plans for every little thing they want to hear, because those plans are not yet developed. She's got to work with multiple people in order to develop those plans. So basically, she was grilled at her confirmation hearing. She was made to look bad. She was treated as an enemy. She was treated as an inferior. You'll see what I mean in this video coming up right now with Senator Elisabeth Warren questioning Secretary DeVos.
Colleges. So here's my question. How do you plan to protect taxpayer dollars from waste, fraud, and abuse by colleges that take in millions of dollars in federal student aid?
Senator, if confirmed, I will certainly be very vigilant.
Yeah, I'm asking how. How are you going to do that? You said you're committed.
The individuals with whom I work in the department will ensure that federal monies are used properly and appropriately, and I will look forward to working with you.
So you're going to subcontract making sure that what happened with universities that cheat students doesn't happen anymore?
No, I didn't say
You're going to give that to someone else to do? I just want to know what your ideas are for making sure we don't have problems with waste, fraud, and abuse.
I want to make sure we don't have problems with that as well. And if confirmed, I will work diligently to ensure that we are addressing any of those issues.
Well, let me make a suggestion on this. It actually turns out that there are a whole group of rules that are already written and are there, and all you have to do is enforce them. So what I want to know is, will you commit to enforcing these rules to ensure that no career college receives federal funds unless they can prove that they are actually preparing their students for gainful employment and not cheating them.
Senator, I will commit to ensuring that institutions which receive federal funds are actually serving their students well.
And so you will enforce the gainful employment rule to make sure that these career colleges are not cheating students?
We will certainly review that rule.
You'll
and
review
see that,
it? You will not
and
commit
see
to
that
enforce it?
And see that it is actually achieving what the intentions are.
I don't understand about reviewing it. We talked about this in my office. There are already rules in place to stop waste, fraud, and abuse, and I don't understand how you can not be sure about enforcing them. You know, swindlers and crooks are out there doing backflips when they hear an answer like this. If confirmed, you will be the cop on the beat.
Welcome back. So as you can see, Warren hassled DeVos. I don't want to say harassed, but if this was not in a professional setting, maybe we would call it harassment. Now this is a professional setting, so I'm not going to say she harassed her, because in a way it is, you know, Warren's job as, you know, a Democrat from Massachusetts to question DeVos's integrity, and she does just that. She asked what she's going to do to stop fraud. Now we know about the Trump University and the story about that. So she's really questioning DeVos's integrity. I believe she even brought up the Trump University in this hearing. Now, I didn't listen to all of it myself just now, but I have watched it a few times. She did ask DeVos if she would commit to enforcing the rule that no university will receive federal funds unless proved legitimate. Now, DeVos said she will review and she will do her best to make sure. And what Warren wanted a short answer. She wanted Warren to say, absolutely, I will enforce that to my utmost, and there will be no doubt that I will make sure that that happens. But the thing is, DeVos can't make those promises. We know that DeVos can't go up there and make all those promises, because later she could be held accountable in a court of law for making those promises. She has a team that she's going to be working with, and they will, you know, be her co-decision makers, and they will work together to develop these plans. So of course, DeVos in her confirmation hearing, before even being confirmed, isn't going to just make all these promises, because that would be unwise. That would be unwise of DeVos. Now, people are calling it a grill. It was a good hearing. DeVos held her own. She didn't break. She was very polite. She didn't act, you know, too jovial like we've seen Hillary Clinton act in some very serious accusations under some, you know, un-American accusations. And poor Secretary DeVos, you know, she got this opportunity. She doesn't have direct experience in education, but, you know, she has vowed to do her best. And what more can we ask from a human being? If they're doing their best, they're going to put their all in, and, you know, we should get something good out of that. You get what you give. So DeVos is getting hassled. She's being grilled all over the media, not just in that hearing. You know, a couple talk shows aired it as the roast of DeVos, and so on and so forth, whatever you want to call it. She's being criticized personally as well. You know, just as we've seen with Trump, and just as we see with Republican candidates all the time, we also saw it with Hillary from the Republican Party. People saying Hillary for prison, Hillary should be in stripes, etc. We see it from both ends. But to be honest, we see it in the media a lot more from the left side attacking the right side. And the same thing is going on with DeVos here. And she has been attacked by protesters on school campuses where she's just trying to make an appearance, etc. And it's really sad that people are wasting their time to harass someone instead of maybe writing up a diplomatic letter and sending it, you know, to the secretary like a professional person would do, like someone who really cares about an issue would do. But we're not getting that. We're getting protesters, and, you know, paid and unpaid. So that's a whole nother issue that we'll get into when we talk about Soros and more about Soros. So anyway, she's really taking some heat. She's been criticized for many issues, and we'll get to those in the next half of the episode. Right now we're running out of time. And she's been criticized for lack of experience because she's got no previous career in any educational institution directly. We're seeing a correlation here with DeVos and Trump. People are attacking DeVos the same way they attack Trump for his lack of direct experience in politics. Now here we have that same thing with DeVos. Now, just as I said about Trump, it's good to have someone who is maybe for a little bit from the outside circle, who's not in the inner circle. That's good sometimes. We need to look at the benefits of that. And she does have experience with the education system, but she has not been directly employed in an educational setting. So let's remember that. She does have experience with the education system in Michigan, her home state, and we'll review that the next half when we get back. I'm Katie. We'll be right back with you after these brief commercials.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
El Rey in Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
It's a new year. New you at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper. Ring in the new year with huge deals on a brand new Ford. Right now, get exceptional offers like 0% financing plus a $1,500 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford F-150 XLT. Or get 0% financing plus a $1,000 factory rebate on a new 2017 Ford Explorer. Make your resolution solution a reality during the New Year, New You sales event at Schottenkirk Ford Jasper, home of the Schottenkirk Customer Guarantee. Visit us online at schottenkirkfordjasper.com.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on-site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Welcome back to the Katy Sissine Show. Now, in the last segment of the show, we introed Betsy DeVos and how she's just been confirmed as the Secretary of Education, and how this has been kind of blown out of proportion. There have been many protesters against her and fearful of what she might do to the system of education and what she's been criticized for. At her confirmation hearing before she was even confirmed, she was more or less grilled by Elisabeth Warren, Democrat, for not having cohesive plans developed for action upon becoming Secretary of Education. But yet we all know DeVos's beliefs. She has been endorsed by the ESSA, and we'll talk about that later. And that is the ESSA, also known as, Every Student Succeeds Act. The ESSA is Every Student Succeeds Act, put forth by Obama in 2015. So we'll get back to that later. She has been endorsed by that organization. So just as a preface, and that's the organization in place today. Now, people are criticizing her for lack of experience. They say that she has no previous experience in an educational setting, in an educational institution directly, no previous career. And she advocates school privatization initiatives. This threatens many people in favor of going all public and going all government. And people are fearful that more fraud will come due to the deregulation and the privatization of the schooling system. U.S. News said their financial risk, including waste, fraud, abuse, lack of accountability over federal funds, and lack of assurances that the schools were implementing federal programs in accordance with federal requirements. So there's a lot of worries about, the deregulation leading to more fraud and abuse of the funds given to these schools. But it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, you can take money from federal sources just as easily as from private sources. I mean, money can be laundered in various different ways. So I don't agree with that criticism. I don't think we're necessarily increasing financial risk by going this route. I think that's a criticism because it's a criticism from the left of people who believe that, things should be under more government control. So these people do believe strongly that the government is needed to control our funds and to allot them in an organized fashion to each and every school, with equal regulations in order to get the funds. It's, the socialism of it. Whereas Betsy DeVos wants to make education something more privatized and, to go with our capitalist economy. And our capitalist economy promotes competition. It promotes better business because it promotes competition, and it rewards people for their accomplishments. Whereas if we're all given the same regulations by the federal government, we will have a worse educational system because there will be no reward for performance because everyone is held to the same standards by the same group of people. Now, if we have privatization, then we enhance competition and we enhance the quality of our schools. And it's not something that happens instantaneously. And in Michigan, after DeVos's projects of privatization of the schools in Michigan, we realized that, the few years that it was implemented, it didn't show signs of improvement in the system of education. It showed lower math test scores, etc., because it takes some time to develop. Now, it was an experiment in Michigan, granted, to see how it would do. And maybe because of the way the experiment went, Betsy DeVos has learned from that and learned better methods and more controlled methods to privatize schools so that the changes won't be so drastic and we can still control the progress of the students in schools, to a better ability than they were in Michigan. Now, that was obviously an experiment. So anyway, advocates of the public schools fear she will privatize and destroy the current system, and that's based on what happened in Michigan. 3 Michigan school districts enroll some of the highest percentages of charter schools now nationwide because of DeVos. A Politico headline recently said, DeVos's Michigan schools experiment gets poor grades. And there's many people who express the pros and cons of privatization. So from debate.org, it says education should be privatized. As previously mentioned, and this is from an anonymous speaker, as previously mentioned, public institutions tend to be inherently inefficient. This is because all institutions, government or not, exist to survive and meet their own ends. This is not usually a problem with private institutions because the only way they can maintain revenue is by providing a relatively competitive and quality service to its students, so it's a win-win. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's in line with capitalism. This is someone who is pro-privatization, who is pro-DeVos, so to speak. They understand that with privatization, we enhance competition and we enhance the quality of our schools because these individual schools want to do a better job in order to be rewarded and be, compensated by their private funders, or maybe even receive, a federal reward for standing out as a charter school. So it also gives more options to the parents. They're not so forced to put their children in a school in a system of education that they're not fond of. And a lot of people aren't fond of the system of education in this country right now because half of the people in this country are, conservative and they like capitalism and they understand capitalism, and that privatization of schools can enhance the quality of schools, and it will take some time, but it probably will enhance the quality of schools based on the way capitalism has worked with the economy. So anyway, the speaker goes on to say, but government institutions, public schooling, does not acquire funds in such a way. They normally use political capital to acquire it from taxpayers regardless of quality of service. So she just points out, it's like when someone's given a grant to do work versus someone who has to get sponsors to do their work or, get investors to do their work. If you get a grant to do your work, you've got your grant, it's a set amount of money, and you do the work that you want to do, and there's no There's no raised amount that you could get, you know, after your grant. You get a set grant and you have a set job. Now with, what's a good way to say this now? When you have an investor, that investor is going to hold you accountable to a certain level of work. And if you meet that certain level of work, he or she will want to invest more in you. Now with the government, they don't really look at the individual like that. They don't have time to. So the work that's produced by the citizens is inadequate. And that leads to a perpetual cycle of the deterioration of the human mind and human capacities and what we feel we're capable of doing. Now, a dissenter criticized DeVos, saying privatizing our education would place the economic and social responsibility of preparing our citizenry in the hands of businesses motivated by financial profit. However flawed, our public education system is governed largely by elective school boards who serve at the will of the people. Many states exert even more local control by subjecting school budgets to the public referendum, placing our children's academic preparation in the hands of private providers such as us, or private providers subjects us to the risk of entrusting their futures to the lowest bidder. Now, before we get going, that was a dissenter. I do not agree with this. I believe that, you know, privatizing will enhance competitiveness of schools and will enhance schools as a result, the quality of schools and the quality of student performance. Now, if we could check out 2 minutes of this video before we go. Thank you for tuning into the Katy Sissine Show. You can follow me on Twitter at KatyFYN. And I want to show some protests against DeVos in her hometown of Holland, Massachusetts, Michigan, before we go.
His hometown of West Michigan, in the city of Holland. 24-hour News 8's Evan Dean was there, and he has our story tonight.
As with just about any protest, it's the signs and the sounds.
Oh, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Betsy DeVos has got to go!
That tell the story. And the message clear here today. No on Education Secretary nominee Betsy DeVos.
It is like, well, it's like putting Cruella DeVille in charge of the Humane Society.
Hundreds, if not thousands, marched in unison. Enough of them to wrap around Centennial Park in DeVos's hometown of Holland. Among those protesting, retired Saugatuck Public Schools teacher Joan Lamb. She says she's concerned with DeVos's lack of experience in public education and with her qualifications as a whole.
Her comment on not understanding proficiency versus growth show a lack of knowledge. I just don't think she's ready for the job.
DeVos has been a longtime advocate of school choice and charter schools, but protesters here question the effectiveness and inclusion of those programs.
They're not held to the same standards, and they are not expected to include all of society.
In that at times contentious confirmation hearing,
conflicting ideas, and
DeVos insisted she won't dismantle public education. She's also resigned from school choice advocacy groups to avoid potential conflicts of interest. And despite the large crowd here, DeVos does have strong support. Backers who say the U.S. education system has long needed reform. And with a committee and full Senate both controlled by Republicans, she is expected to be confirmed. But that's not stopping those here today from urging lawmakers against it.
So we do need some Republicans to say, wait a minute, we need qualified people who are supportive of the missions of those departments to lead those departments.
In Holland, Evan Dean, 24-hour News 8.
And as protesters speak their mind, so are some of those who support Betsy DeVos.
At times not so easy for DeVos, new Secretary of Education. The protesters want federal regulations and requirement and equality in education, which doesn't necessarily always lead to the best quality. And we know that it won't because we are capitalists in a capitalist nation. They fear she'll dismantle public education. One even said that we need qualified people that support the mission of those departments to lead a department. Well, that's very interesting because she's endorsed by the ESSA, and that's the Every Student Succeed Act. Now, when we return in the third episode, I'm going to talk about a supporter of DeVos, Lamar Alexander, senior senator from Tennessee. So I'm excited to get back with y'all and defend DeVos. Thank you for tuning in to the Katy Sissine Show. As always, I'm your host, Katy Sissine, and you can follow me on Twitter at FYNTV and buy our merchandise at fetchyournews.com. Thank you for tuning in.